Yeah, I meant yesterday, it's funny that Maury Strong got brought up by, well, it's not funny, it's tragic, we're on the same page, by Alan Watt, because I have a clip. I ran into a bunch of clips of him talking about licenses to have even one kid, total control, how that's the goal of the different United Nations treaties, that's the goal of global warming. Him in the 70s saying global warming is going to kill us by 2000. We've got to have one-child policies. Just incredible. So we're going to go back to Alan Watt here in just a moment. I would add, though, that the preeminent film exposing the globalist master plan, their overall agenda, what they have planned for you and your family is my film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. Everybody needs to get this DVD at Infowars.com and make copies of it and get it out to everybody, because this is the mindset of those that govern the planet. This is their religion. It is what they work for every waking moment, to kill the majority of the world population. And first, they've got to build an international straitjacket control grid, get you dependent in compact cities. All of the culling and sterilization and chemical and biological attacks and radiological attacks, that's all just been beta testing, where they were kind of learning how to cook, like going to chef school. Now they've graduated. Now they're ready to start the killing. But first, they've got to get you fully on your knees and domesticated. So please get Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement at Infowars.com, or call toll-free to get it, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. Or you can see it in super high quality and burn it to disc and give it to folks at prisonplanet.tv. You can also write to me, Alex Jones, at 3001 South Lamar, Suite 100, Austin, Texas, 78704. Then there's the Obama deception. This shatters the left-right paradigm. This is designed for the general public. It's also important viewing and for people that are experts on this, but it's really made for people to understand how the left and right are controlled, two false choices in a controlled dialectic, where the establishment manages both sides of this system. So the Obama deception available on DVD at Infowars.com as well, or again, prisonplanet.tv. See it in super high quality. It's an arsenal of resistance. You can make copies of it from prisonplanet.tv in the highest quality online with the DivX system that play on most DVD players as well. I also want to tell you about a few of the sponsors that are making today's show possible. One of them is New Silver Solution. What can you do to keep you and your family safe from resistant strains of deadly bacteria and viruses? I want you to go to supernaturalsilver.com today. Visit the link on Infowars.com to find out more about this incredible new take on a silver compound. The New Silver Solution is a natural antibiotic that has been clinically proven to kill viruses, germs, bacteria, and yeast safely. You know, silver is one of the oldest antibiotics, and this is just atomized down to the smallest particle. That's what you want. It's a new technology and is proven to be a formidable weapon against bio-threats. The New Silver Solution gel has been shown to disinfect topically and keep the area sanitized for up to 4 hours. The New Silver Solution is a highly effective, potent nanoparticle solution that is lethal to bacteria, yeast, and viruses. So, see, a lot of your antibiotics just do bacteria, or antivirals just do viruses. Silver is good for everything. We've had medical doctors on that have recommended this. So supernaturalsilver.com and see the amazing line of products they have available. That's supernaturalsilver.com, supernaturalsilver.com today. And again, one other sponsor here I want to tell you about is mysolarbackup.com. A lot of things can cut off your electrical power, hurricanes, snow, ice storms. Listeners should move towards getting off the grid, and here's a good way to start doing just that. A solar power generator is now available from our great sponsor, Solutions from Science. You get an emergency power backup kit, which consists of the Power Source 1800-watt generator and the high-efficiency solar panel designed to provide endless electricity. Remember, too, that gas generators need gas, but in a blackout, gas pumps can't pump gas because they run on electricity. This is the perfect emergency backup for troubled times. The government doesn't own the sun yet, folks, so make your move today. MySolarBackup.com. That's MySolarBackup.com. One word, MySolarBackup.com, or 877-327-0365. 877-327-0365. MySolarBackup.com. Okay, thank you, Alan, for holding while I thank our sponsors that make this whole operation possible. Don't forget to support Alan with his great books and videos he has available at cuttingthematrix.com. Okay, Alan, again, you keep pausing for me to interrupt customarily, and I do add, I think, some important points, but I really want you to sit down and continue rolling with their operation, their plan, what's coming next, some of the other facets really, I normally guide the interviews. I'd like to sit back and let you follow your fancy.
Well, what we have really is a very ingenious plan that's going to use environmentalism and a war. Remember the Club of Rome, one of the premier think tanks that not predicts the future, they create the future. They create realities for the upcoming generations. They come up with the ideas, then they give it to the lesser think tanks to find ways to implement it through media, movies, and novels to society. Well, they came up in 1970s with the idea of global warming. And they say in their own book, the two founders say in their own book, The First Global Revolution, that they were looking for a way to unite the entire planet under a warfare scenario. It would have to be warfare because when there's war, like World War going on, the public will allow their rights to be taken away from them. They'll all work together for less. They'll eat less food and rationing and so on. And they have a common purpose, a common cause. At least they think they do. And government can then expand and take over various areas of their lives where it didn't interfere before. Therefore, a war scenario had to be dreamed up. And the one that they hit upon was global warming. They said that would fit the bill. That's their own words. That would fit the bill. After looking at other ways to do it, that one would fit the bill. Now, when these guys come to a decision like this, and they're unanimous, they never change their agenda. So if it's written 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you can take it to the bank. They will carry it through. Even if we're up to our eyes in snow, they'll still say it's global warming. Now, under this guise of environment and saving the world environment, because man's at war with environment, that's what they say, man's the enemy. We all have to reduce our populations, which ties in exactly with the United Nations. They've said that in their own charter for the Department of Agriculture, the United Nations ultimately will be responsible for doling out the food to every nation in a quota system. And eventually, they'll use it as a weapon. If you don't reduce your population, say in the United States, they'll give you less rationing. And of course, even if you try and keep up or keep to the right quota of population, they'll give you less next year or 2 years' time once you're used to the idea, until you keep reducing it and reducing and reducing your population. So there's disincentives to have children.
And we already see that. California's getting rid of the tax credit for children. Australia's gotten rid of it entirely, and now says in their news they're going to start taxing having kids. And then they even have parents come on that are stakeholders. That means they're minions. They always have these little rent-a-mob groups who represent the population saying, oh, I love it. I think it's a great idea. And I had the British scientist on last year who was all over the news calling for wartime rationing of food and water and carbon footprints, water footprints, to have laws to make us skinnier, not eat as much, being fat is bad for the earth, or even being a few pounds overweight. They say you've got to be rail skinny. So a total tyranny, yep. And he's hailed as a great guy, and I had him on, and he basically said, yes, we're going to control everything you do and have carbon rationing on eating food. Yep. And I had another scientist on, and he said that I would have to be sent to a re-education camp if I didn't conform. Absolutely.
They've been using techniques like this for years on children at school. And now it's to go into the adult world as well. And what they're training us is that we have no privacy, of course, that government inspectors can come into your homes at any time, regardless if you think you own it or not, and put restrictions
Unisex
on you.
Bathrooms. All of this is about destroying all privacy, yep. All identity, anything that's associated with normal biological activity in the species must be destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Anything, in other words, that you would naturally fight for, they're training you not to fight, but just to acquiesce and give in. That's the whole key to we're getting trained. And under the threat of environment, the catastrophe, then they're going to use this. They're already using it, of course, to come into your life in every single aspect of your life, right down to what you eat, to how much you eat, and are you eating meat? The Royal Society put out a report the other day. Now, the Royal Society is an incredible society. It's got a royal charter to exist. And every famous scientist that's ever existed was a member of it. But it also has listed openly in its own records and history that it was the first totally Freemasonic scientific institution ever set up. So these guys literally, again, are part of the big think tanks. They help plan the future on a socio-political basis. And they have said that we should stop eating red meats. Now, what's the Royal Society doing, telling us to stop eating red meats, you see, until you tie it in with their agenda, because we find that H.G. Wells, in his book, Utopia, and he was an earlier member of the same organizations, he said the world will be vegetarian, completely vegetarian worldwide. You find the same thing in Toffler's book, Alvin Toffler, the big futurist, the pal of Newt Gingrich, who gave out his book to every congressman in the U.S. It's called The Third Way. And in it he says the world we shall bring in will be vegetarian, and